Buonasera. Today I will be doing a roast chicken with some potatoes and some vegetables and herbs in the oven. It is an all-in-one meal, and you might be wondering what is so special. Absolutely nothing, but this is my Sicilian version. You might want to try it, and hopefully you will like it. I'm cooking for 4 people, and this chicken weighs 1.8 kilos. But the first thing I do is to remove any of the excess fat so that it's a little bit leaner and healthier. So here, this skin, for example, can come off. Also, if you go here where you find the bum, you turn it this way around. I always remove this part because it's just pure fat. This is not too bad, but another area often where there is excess skin or fat is the neck, so I'll just remove a little. Also, I've noticed that lots of people still wash their chicken under the tap in current water before they cook with it. You do not need to do that because under current hygiene standards, which are really strict, before the chicken actually hits the supermarket shelf, they've gone through such a good sterilization that they are very, very clean. Actually, you are in the danger of contaminating your worktop or your chicken more by washing it than anything else. So this is perfectly safe. So I'll turn the chicken on its head, and I'm going to stuff now with some fresh rosemary, and I'm going to be fairly generous because actually that will release lots of flavors. And also I will add some fresh sage, which I've just picked from the garden there. Next I'm going to put some salt inside. I'll put maybe just under 1 teaspoon, and it doesn't matter because it will dissolve and it will just find its way around the chicken. Followed by a generous amount of pepper. I'll get hold of 1 clove of garlic. I will crush it and keep the skin, and I will put it inside as well. And using a cooking string, I'm not tying the legs together so that it cooks better. Here is a roasting tin which I've lined up with a little baking paper so that it's easy for the washing up, and I'll place the chicken inside it. You might have also noticed that whenever I cook with chicken or with pork, I use a different board here, a plastic one. I avoid using anything which is in wood that could potentially cross-contaminate when you're cooking with other food. Clearly chicken and pork, they need a different type of treatment. But I nearly forgot to put a little bit more rosemary at the bottom of my chicken, like this, so that I've got some underneath as well. New chopping board, and I'll move on to the potatoes next. I've got 4 potatoes. I'm cooking for 4 people, so 1 potato per person. Whenever I cook with potatoes, I always try and leave the skin on if I can, as it is full of fiber. And in this particular recipe, they will be cooking with the chicken, so I want to leave them nice and chunky. So I've chopped each potato in half, then I've halved it again, and then for each potato, I will get effectively 8 pieces, just like this. And I'll move them onto the tray alongside the chicken. The next ingredient, which often is cooked in Sicily whenever there is a roast chicken, is also pepper. And here is a green pepper, fairly large because it's going to feed 4 people. And I've halved it, and I'm now removing all of the seeds and all of these white bits, which would be difficult to digest. And I'm now chopping it into little strips like this. Again, fairly big sizes, so that it will cook away with the potatoes and the rest. And in it goes. Aubergines next. It is a Sicilian dish after all, so I'll remove the little head. I'll chop it in half. I should have actually used one of my trusted bread knives to do this, but I already got this on the go, so I don't fancy messing another one up, so I'm going to be extra careful. But again, like I did with the pepper, I'm going to leave the aubergine in fairly large chunks. But my knife is nice and sharp, so from that point of view, it's very safe. And I will add them to the rest as well. And the last vegetable I'm going to be using is a red onion. You can also use a white onion if you like, of course. I love red onions, they're lovely and sweet, they're my favorite. So again, I'll do this in fairly large pieces as well. I'll cut it into 6 pieces, and in it goes, wherever you find a space. Now, I've made a little schoolboy error. I do occasionally do things without thinking it through. I should have actually done the potatoes last because I want them to be at the top so that they become lovely and golden on the top. So I'm now reshuffling things so that my potatoes come on the top. And I'm nearly done. I just got a few more ingredients to go in. So I've got 4 cloves of garlic, and skin included. I'll just give them a gentle crush, and I will add it to the rest. A little bit more rosemary this time on top of the potatoes and the other vegetables, so that they also get a lovely flavor. And also some sage, so that the flavor inside the chicken marries the flavors with the vegetables. But to enhance things a little bit further, I will also be using some bay leaves, so I'll put a couple, one on each end. And I'm nearly ready, so I'm covering everything with a layer of olive oil now, including the top of the chicken and especially the vegetables. But I'll spread the olive oil on top of my chicken so that it is covered all over. And I'm now sprinkling the top of the chicken with a little salt so that the skin becomes lovely and crispy. A very generous amount of pepper on top of my chicken, and of course also all over the vegetables. You'll have noticed that I have not salted any of the vegetables or indeed the potatoes. I'll do that at the end. But I've just sliced one lemon, and this will be the final thing that goes on top of my chicken before it goes in the oven. Just like this. Again, a lemon is widely used in Sicilian cooking, but combined with chicken is absolutely perfect. And it is ready to go in the oven. As a guideline, a chicken that weighs, say, 1 kilo, it would need to cook for 45 minutes at a temperature of 200 degrees. In my case, my chicken is 1.8 kilos, so if I cook it for an hour and a half, it should be plenty. However, for the first 30 minutes, I've decided that I'll cover it with some tin foil so that it gives a good start, and then I will remove it after the first half an hour. So I'll place it on top fairly loosely, it doesn't have to be sealed, but one thing I will do though, I'll just pierce a few little holes so that some of these steams come out. And it's ready for the oven, but I will not be cooking it for another couple of hours as I'm getting things ready, which means that actually this is something you can prepare in the morning for the evening or the day before if you like, for the day after if you want. I'll put it in the fridge for a couple of hours and then I'll turn the oven on and I'll see you when it's ready. Which means I'll see you now, 90 minutes exactly, and temperature 200 degrees. I think fan oven or indeed if you go conventional oven, don't think it matters too much, 200 degrees will be fine. And I did tell you it was going to be lovely and crispy on the top, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now a way to check if it's cooked, there are two ways to check it actually. One is old school, and that is where you can use a skewer, or I've got a metal one here, or a knife. Just go somewhere where you can see clearly and pierce it and go all the way, and make sure that then you press it, and you can see that there are juices coming out. The juices are clear, which means that the chicken is ready. If the juices were pink, that means that it needs to go back in the oven. So this is perfect. Another way to do it is the modern way. There are all sorts of gadgets on the market these days, and I've got one of these thermometers here, and it's got little numbers and indicating what it is that you're cooking, and the poultry is actually 90 degrees. So again, find a place where it's deep with the meat and insert it, and hopefully that will move all the way up until it gets to 90. I'll move it so that hopefully you'll be able to see it on the camera. And there it is, nearly there, passing 80 now. And there it is, it's on 90. It's just coming down now, as the chicken is not very big and is cooling down quickly. So I will leave it to now rest for a few minutes, and I'll put it in a lovely little dish, and then we can take a look. And there is only one thing left to do now, and it does look really nice actually, and I'm really looking forward to see what it's like. I'll just slice a little, and then I'll go. By the way, do not overcook chicken either. Although it is clearly important that it's properly cooked, you don't want it to get too dry, otherwise it would not be very pleasant. Like this is wonderful, it's nice and moist, and ideally what you want. But let's give it a shot. It tastes like chicken, lovely and moist, and it's beautiful. I'll just have a little potato though. I think they're nice. I need to put some salt on them. I still haven't salted them, but I wanted to see if the flavor from the herbs is there, and it is. Beautiful. Cook it like this if you want, and let me know how you get on. Or indeed, let me know how you do your chicken in the oven. It'd be interesting to see any variations. This is a typical standard recipe that is widely used in Sicily, but also this is what we tend to do when we have a quick all-in-one meal with chicken. Thank you for watching once again, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.